Welcome to the Duck Gun Podcast. This week on the Duck Gun Podcast, we have Elliot the Snake Snyder coming in strong from the state of Kansas with large envy and hate in his heart for our favorite bird, the king of the timber. So alongside me tonight, per usual, I got Hunter, the king of the cans. We got young Padawan. We got Mr. Graybeard, Elliot Snyder. And behind the camera, we actually got Leroy. So we only got 4 headsets, so he's subbed out for the night. But yeah. How you doing, Elliot? Are you glad to be here?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm loving it.
Yeah, we're on, just to give a little bit of history, we're on day 2 of our 10-day excursion for the boat crew. Not the sunk boat crew, different one. The no prop crew. But yeah. So we got lots of stories to tell. We got lots of adventures. We got lots of mosquito bites. Anything else major I'm missing?
No, I just got another mosquito bite. So
yeah,
we're doing good on that situation.
Definitely. So before we get into it, we'll just get a quick word from our partners, and then we'll jump into the main meat of the podcast. So first off, I'd like to give big thanks to Onyx. Guys, Onyx is excellent for trips like this. We're out here, we're freelancing out in public land. We're using the tracks, we're using the pens, we're sharing them with each other. We're using that recent imagery. We're using the measure tool, walking through the woods. We mark a pin. I'm using the compass tool a lot. It's real easy to lose your way, get turned around. Without that compass tool, it helps a ton. So Onyx is a great tool for the duck hunter. Definitely check it out. I also like to give a big thanks to Weatherby. Guys, Weatherby making some excellent waterfowl shotguns. Everybody here is actually shooting a Weatherby. So that's super cool. Elliot, which one are you shooting?
I'm shooting the 20 gauge element. Just switched over.
Yep. You're loving the 20 gauge?
I'm loving it. I haven't shot well this weekend, but I'm loving it.
Well, I don't think we can blame the 20 gauge.
No.
It's probably the wood ducks.
Yeah.
So little screaming wood ducks. I understand it.
Of course, that shot today wasn't exactly a screaming one.
Yeah.
It was like, kill me. Nope.
Nice. And Hunter's been shooting the Sorex.
Yeah.
I've been shooting the 20 gauge 18i. And Leroy's been shooting the 18i 12 gauge, and Zack's been shooting the Element 20 gauge as well. So we got a good variety of the Weatherby shotguns, and yeah, I mean, we've been killing a lot of birds with them this weekend. So no complaints on that. Definitely check them out, guys. They've made some strides on their shotguns in the last 3-4 years. Also like to give a big thanks to Dirty Duck Coffee. Guys, Dirty Duck Coffee making premium coffee. They got tons of different options. I think it's 9 different options over there. They got some flavored options. They got some more standard roasts. They got some medium roasts, some darker roasts. I'm the biggest fan of the high velocity. I haven't tried them all yet, but that's been my favorite so far. Elliot actually tried the morning wood today. And said it was good.
It was fantastic.
Yeah,
I don't like coffee black, and that one was just wonderful.
Right. That's what I've been saying as kind of like when I talk about it, because I'm the same way. I really like to have cream in it, but yeah, they make some good stuff. So I'm excited to try the rest of their lineup too, the rest of the year. So definitely check them out, guys. It's dirtyduckcoffee.com and use code DuckGun over there, and you'll get yourself a discount. Also, like to give big thanks to Quick Coys, guys. Quick Coys. They make an awesome motion decoy system. You can put 5 decoys on it. We actually had it on the first day. We were running 4 decoys and a spinner. So some cool stuff, some cool little things you can do with that. Honestly, I don't know if it's like a big increase to have the spinner on top. You could have the spinner off to the side, but it seemed like a cool idea. So we tried it out, but it definitely helped. Hunter, you're saying you had birds landing right on it. So
yeah, they were like landing so close to it, I was afraid I was going to smoke all the birds in the quick place. So
right. So yeah, it's we all know it's important, guys, to not have no motion. That's a bad way of saying that. But we want motion in the set, and they make a great option. It's battery powered, hands free. Comes with I think you have an option to add a backpack so you can hike it out there. Lee's been hiking it out, and taking some of the decoys in that way. So definitely check them out, guys, over there, at Quick Coys, and get yourself, some motion for your set. Alrighty, let's go ahead and jump to the podcast. So with any story, we should probably start with the beginning. We need to start with you, Elliot. So this might be the first time I've had you on the podcast talking about the whole boat project. So,
Right.
I mean, we know you've been knowing about it for a long time, but this first time seeing it in person. But initial thoughts on it.
Well, I've been a big fan of the whole project. I mean, I've watched every video. I've talked about it a lot on my podcast just because it's just such a cool adventure. And what you guys took on, the project you took on, like the first video, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't look at all that rod. I don't think they can do it. Like you can see sunlight coming through the sides but you guys got it done. And I mean, after it didn't sink, I was glad that I wasn't here on the first weekend.
Yep.
But seeing it, I mean, I love the color schemes you guys picked, and everyone that sees this is just like staring at it, waving, talk. I mean, it's just a spectacle. It's
right.
It's wonderful. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, we came up to this anchor point, which is like it's not super out in the boonies like some of the other ones we had. So we're a little closer to people. On Saturday, there's a bunch of people on the sandbar, and like when we rolled up, it was like legit. Like people came like running to the boat.
Yeah, like your rock stars pulling up. They're screaming stuff.
Yeah, Hunter was eating it up, man. He was over there leaning on the tree, like changing poses, just talking to like 20 people, telling them the whole story. So we were getting a kick out of it in the boat. I don't know if you knew that. But
Yeah,
we're all looking at you like leaned up against a tree, and yeah, it was funny. So, but yeah, we're anchored here. Just set the scene. I should have set the scene a little bit. If you're not watching the video, I thought
That's cool. That was
yeah.
two eagles flying by,
Right.
swooping at each other.
Two bald eagles are swooping around right in front of. We're setting up on the top of this sand dune, small sand dune. I don't know if you call it sand dune, but it's a sand pile on the Mississippi. In the backdrop, we got the Timber Queen. We got a fire going. So pretty cool scene for sure.
And lots of trees.
Right. Lots of trees for someone from Kansas. There's bluffs in the background. Yeah. Cool setting. It's cool to be out. And I mean, with the whole point of the project was to have an awesome duck camp headquarters that we could go to between hunts. So, yeah.
I think mission success on that one so far.
Mission success. Yep.
Well, there's nothing better than a duck trip when your whole mission is just duck hunting with your friends. But it's like, what Airbnb are we going to get?
Right.
Where are we going to stay? The fact that you can get clear out close to where you're hunting and just be that camp in the water is just incredible.
Yep.
It's just incredible. That's that full immersion thing.
Right.
I mean, it's
right.
just, you're in it.
It's I can't think of a more like a higher increase to the full immersion.
Oh, 100%.
Than like living on the river.
100%.
Right. And just like not even leaving it. It's just like, okay, we'll be on the river for X amount of days.
Totally different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you'd change about it?
I think the only thing that I would change would be a little more space interior. I mean, there's 5 guys, and
Right.
we've managed it really, really well. But that would be the only change that I would see would be if there was a little more spread out space and organization space. Because duck hunting, there's so much gear and so. But it's managed. I mean, you guys have organized it really, really well. To that, I've been able to keep my stuff organized, and everyone has, and so it doesn't feel like, like you're on top of each other. But a little more space would probably be the only thing that would improve it.
It has to be the right 5 guys too. That's kind of what we're talking about too.
Yeah.
And like not only that, we're here for 10 days, and like you got podcasts or YouTube stuff, I got YouTube and podcast stuff. And so there's just like a lot more than just like here's your duck hunting stuff.
Yeah.
Or if you're just camping on a boat, right, you wouldn't need as much. But yeah, we have a ton of gear. So yeah, now we have to kind of change gears a little bit. And sorry to do this to you, Elliot, but we got to talk.
Here we go.
I know, like just the words coming out of your lips probably burn but, as you snarl them through your teeth. But we finally coerced him rather, to come on a wood duck hunt. So now's your chance to say how you truly feel about wood ducks.
I can say that nothing about this weekend has changed how I feel about wood ducks.
He still hates them.
I think that was the poor way to say that.
No, but I mean, it's true. I've had a lot of fun on these hunts, but when I rank it versus like different styles of hunting, it's still, I wouldn't do this versus blue wing teal. Like if I could are you going to go on a wood duck hunt or a blue wing teal hunt? I'd still pick a blue wing teal hunt or, but I love doing it and I would do it and I want to do it. At times.
I just hate doing it.
I fully appreciate what we've done this weekend and I've fully enjoyed. Now today was way more enjoyable hunt than yesterday.
Yeah, so
I mean
the way I'd put it, like if you lived in this area, this is the opportunity we have for 2 weeks. Would you take the opportunity or would you sit at home?
If I lived in this area, I'd probably be searching like crazy for blue wings. That's probably what I'd be doing. But no, for the opener, this is exactly what you guys did on the opening day is exactly what I would have done. Because I've done that before in Kansas, where it's like I cannot stand to be on top of each other. So in this area for the opener, I would have done exactly. I'd be hunting wood ducks, 100%, because it was secluded. It was fun. We had it all to ourselves. They decoyed, and it was really, I really, really enjoyed it. But if it was next weekend with lesser people. Like today, and like I kind of was like, man, let's find some teal, let's find some puddle ducks. But
I don't know if there's much around, to be honest. But besides the wood ducks, there's a lot.
And
of
if there's not, I've got no issue doing anything we did. It was fun. I very much enjoyed it. Would have been more enjoyable if I didn't shoot so poorly. But
yeah. So okay, we kind of got that covered then. But we should probably start from the beginning of our story, which we started out scouting. It was you and me, right?
Yeah.
Were you here too for the scout?
I drove you up.
That's right. Okay, man. All the weekends and everything get jumbled in my head. That's right. That's right. Okay. Yeah. So me and Zach went out scouting.
And
Hunter's boat. He was there. He was driving. So, and yeah, we searched around. Hunter, you want to take the scout?
Oh, yeah. I mean, really, we had a bunch of pins. One of the things I thought was funny was how many pins we'd each map scouted. It was kind of like our homework, right? How many times we each pinned the same hole. And like, I remember I was like talking to Elliot. We were talking back and forth, and he sent me 2 pins. And one of the pins was literally so close to a pin that I stopped, or like I put on my map, that I thought that the like Onyx was like tweaking out. And I had to delete one pen in order to see the other pen because they were just so close to each other. And the other one he sent me was like 75 yards from where I sat a pin. Same hole, just like 75 yards across the hole.
I think Hunter was testing me. He's like, show me where you
I
passed the test.
Well, I was just curious because like, everybody hunts a little bit differently, right? And everybody would scout the area a little bit differently. And it'd be interesting. I was hoping you'd have a little bit different idea, honestly. But It was kind of interesting to see that we did like ultimately kind of have the same ideas. So that was like the first thing, and we just started knocking out pins on Friday. And we went to one marsh, a bigger marsh, and there were birds literally everywhere. I mean, like, just the whole shoreline was nothing but wood ducks. But it was an open marsh. It was relatively close to a landing. We could almost guarantee that was going to be a disaster zone.
Did you see any teal, or was it all wood ducks?
There was some teal. There was some teal. We heard some mallards. We saw some mallards.
But in significant numbers.
Not like Kansas numbers, no.
I thought we should have hunted that spot.
Yeah, Zach wanted to throw you to the wolves and put us in a marsh. It, no joke, would have had 10 to 15 groups in.
We would have been surrounded.
Oh, I'm glad we didn't do that.
He said we would have shot our limit in 15 minutes. And me and Hunter were of the mind that, like, on days like that, you just don't get the decoy because by the time they shoot, the bird that was going to work in would flare. So you get some passing shots, but, like, it's really hard to get finishing birds on opening day, in my experience, and maybe you've experienced something different.
I think we could have done it, but
you think they would have decoyed?
Yeah, I do. I think we would have finished up pretty quick too. But I have no opposition with how the hunt actually went.
Right, but at the time, you thought that was our best chance to limit. Everything was scouted.
It was the most birds we'd seen and the most variety too. I think we would have shot some bonus ducks in there.
Maybe, yeah, yeah. I don't know if we would have got to 15 wood ducks though, but maybe. There was a ton of wood ducks.
Yeah, I mean, it was like just loaded with wood ducks.
Right, hundreds.
And so, I mean, we went to there and then we started looking at offshoots from there, cuts and bays and stuff like that. And, marginal success. Just, we just kept checking ones off. You'd see 10 birds here, 15 birds there, 6 birds in that hole. And of course, we're doing this in the afternoon. So you kind of got to take the scout with a little bit of like these birds have just been hanging out.
Right. It's like kind of our rule of thumb is like if we see 40 in the morning or in the evening, it's probably 80 in the afternoon. But like at the same time, is not a guarantee.
Yeah.
Right. You say, oh, well, there's probably, but like we still always base our decisions off of what we saw.
Yeah. And it was just, we just didn't see anything super great. And then we walked back to one of the holes that both Elliot and I penned. And I mean, there was, I don't even know how many birds were there. I don't remember anymore. 20, 30 sitting on the one log.
On the one that we looked at?
Yeah.
It was, yeah, I think there was at least that. Maybe it was 20 to 30.
And
A
then,
couple dozen.
and we didn't even like, one of the other things we're trying not to do is when we're scouting some of these areas is we're trying to walk into them, see how many birds are there, and then walk out without scaring them off. Because they're in the afternoons. You never really know how they're, you don't want to really pressure them unless you have to.
Right.
So it was like, okay, so we're just like, we peek around a corner. Okay, there's 20 wood ducks on this log. You can probably guess there's a couple more. You're just not going to see them. Can't see your bank. You can only see the far bank. And so that would end up being like what we decided to do. And I bet, what did we end up putting on the boat on Friday? It was like 20, just over 20 miles.
It was just under, yeah, it was 19.1 or something.
Okay.
But, and that was actually walking too, right? So, but we didn't walk like miles, but yeah, that's how many miles we put scouting, which is, it's significant on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Is that more scouting than you do, Elliot?
Yeah.
Really? Well, you do a lot. Do you
20 miles? Yeah.
Do you do a lot of truck scouting though?
Well, it just depends. I mean, once the season gets rolling, my scouting is really limited. I've got to go on just habitat and word of mouth.
And yeah, talking to buddies, and then you just
it's
like
a hunt trip.
Right.
So like my next hunt trip, we've got a whole day for scouting.
Okay.
We planned it in, but if
Right.
it's so just if it's a trip, yeah.
Yeah, I never do 20 miles either because my boats don't go that fast. So even if I put the same amount of time, it's like 10 miles. There's like 8 or 9, like 10 miles. And I'm like, man, that was a lot of boating around. And it is, but it's not like you don't cover near as much ground. So that's
Hunter's boat is just designed for this place.
right. It's like, it's actually crazy how much more scouting you can get done with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I mean, that's why we have it, right? Because I hunt a similar area to this, and you got to put on miles. I mean, what was it last year, teal season? I said I put on 15 miles before I found teal. I mean, it's just, you guys got to put on mileage. And
There's
that's
not
all,
very many places that you can do that many miles. I mean, this area.
and not
but
leave the habitat. Like, when I was in habitat, that 20 miles, we never left a spot that we could have hunted.
Right.
We
were talking about it, me, Zach, and Hunter, about the merits of that boat, and like our areas. And it's like, well, yeah, I'd put in a lake and have to like, I would just go around. It would take me like 10 minutes to like cover the whole lake. Right. So we just don't have that big of habitat for it. We don't have big public land marshes. So it makes sense like out in Kansas where they're at, might even make sense some places up in Michigan.
Outboards are more of a commonplace around me.
But you could still do it with the surface
drive. You could. A lot of guys do.
Right.
I just don't think it's as required. Out here, you're at a significant disadvantage if you don't have a boat like that.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, though, a lot of the stuff that we've hunted this time around, we probably could have got away with it, right? Because you'd outboard to the edge and we walk in.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be more careful coming through some of the cuts and stuff than
Right.
I am, obviously. Where I just kind of bomb through it, and you had an outboard, you'd have to be more careful. But yeah, a lot of the spots we've gone to, I think you'd have been all right with an outboard.
Because we're not going in marshes. If you're going in marsh, then you have to have it.
Yeah.
You can't go through there with an outboard.
Yeah, but like an area like this, though, it's one of those things where you buy access with the mud motor, right? Like the cost difference of a mud motor versus a similar horsepower outboard. I mean, I'm buying access, and I'm buying the ability to, for lack of a better way to do it, just not care. Like if I want to go that direction, I really don't have to worry about the motor getting broke or getting overheated or clogged full of stuff. I just go that way.
Right. Yep. So then we got the scout. We made the plan, and then we all got to the boat. Elliot showed up to the Timber Queen. We had it docked at our marina. And we got to hang out for the night and chill. And then Leroy, he passed the hardcore test. He came in at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and our alarms were set for 2 a.m. So he's 2 weeks in, and we'll have to brag on him a little bit because he's 4 hunts in, and he shot 4 wood duck limits and 1 blue wing. So I was saying to Zach, I'm like, isn't that like, can you imagine being 4 hunts in and like, you know what? Actually, you've hunted 6 hunts, right? I forgot we hunted geese in Indiana twice. So he shot a Canada goose. He shot blue wing teal and 12 wood ducks. I'm like, man, in my first 6 hunts, I had 0 birds. He's just like limiting out.
He's getting spoiled for
Yeah,
sure.
he's going to go back to Indiana and be like, what is this crap?
we got partway through the hunt today, and he made some kind of comment. It was on the Marco about it was like a slow day or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, sometimes in Indiana we don't even see a duck. We don't even shoot a duck. Maybe we see 6 and then we go home and like, hey, it was fun hanging out. Like, so there's it's good. We always talk about it when we go like North Dakota or something. Like, it's going to be hard to hunt when we go back home because there's just so many birds, so many opportunities, so many limits. Man, Central Flyway, those guys,
They got it easy.
But then we go back and we still chase wood ducks and still grind it out and still hunt like skunk hunts. And Elliot, do you feel like you need to defend yourself after that sidewards comment towards you and
No.
Central Flyway guys?
Nope.
I mean,
That's true, isn't it?
It's so true. The Central Flyways have it easier.
I don't know what to tell you.
You don't think? Do you believe that or not? True or false?
Well, in what way do we have it easier?
More birds that are more accessible.
And less pressured.
Yeah, and less pressured.
Yeah.
I think those are the 3 big things. There's more birds, they're more accessible.
I would
and
say
they're less
more
pressured.
birds though, because like actually the Mississippi Flyway harvests more birds.
Yeah, because of
More people.
because of
people.
Arkansas.
Right. But
Like,
is there actually a bigger population that comes down the Mississippi than through the Central Flyway?
well, they all end
Prairie
up in
Pothole is known as the Duck Factory.
Right, but
all are-
they come
A
down
lot
the
of those
Mississippi
places.
too.
Yeah, but they all end up down in the Mississippi, don't they? Like, I mean, don't they normally split and go like Oklahoma, or they end up going down the Missouri River
Right,
into
some of
Arkansas?
them. Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, here's the thing. Like when people say it like that, they want, like you guys want me to take it as an insult. You guys don't work any harder than I work at duck hunting. Now, no, I work just as hard in my duck hunting as you guys do.
Like when you're in your 30s or still
Like-
today.
Like still today.
I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time.
But there's nothing that you said that's not true.
Sure.
So I don't take it as an insult. I don't want it to be harder to kill ducks.
Right.
But I'm
that's
still
why we
out
go to
there
North
busting
Dakota.
my ass
Yeah.
as much as anyone else is. It's just, there's a little less pressure and
Right.
sometimes, like you can get open prairie marshes that are super easy to scout and right. But I don't take that as an insult. I don't want it to be super hard.
no, I don't think
It's
it's
still
like
hard to
meant
kill
be.
mallards. It's still hard to kill birds.
I don't think
still
it's
hard to kill.
meant to be like an insult in that way. I think it's meant to be more of like a like per bird. It's more difficult to shoot a bird here if you averaged out the total amount of effort than it would be difficult to shoot a bird in the Central Flyway.
No, it's meant as a you guys aren't as good at duck hunters because it's easier. That's the way it's meant. 100%.
It's a
because
competitive
you guys
thing.
both
It's a
said
rivalry.
that. You both said that and looked at me.
I think
And you said, "Do you need to defend yourself?"
no, he said
So,
that.
well, but yes, but you're both like, it's meant like, therefore, you
I mean-
guys aren't as good at duck hunters as Mississippi Flyway guys.
I mean, we've said this on the podcast before where it's like, in order to be a good duck hunter, you have to have enough success for a feedback, right? So you can't be somewhere where there's just no birds.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't be hunting the
Yeah,
middle
like
of the
you can't be
desert
in like
in
West
Arizona.
Virginia or something.
Yeah, and like
Right.
expect to be a good duck hunter because you just don't have enough feedback. But you can't be somewhere that it's just so easy that you go hunt your private lounge and you shoot a limit
And
every
it's not
single day.
that way in Kansas.
Right.
But I'm saying that like there's a balance in there.
Right.
And-
But the Central Flyway is not top end of that balance. You put me in any state and I'm gonna kill ducks.
yeah, I mean, I
promise
believe
you.
the same thing about anybody in this
And
conversation.
I've been in Kansas all my life, so it's like,
Sure. Yeah. No, I believe you that Kansas is pretty close to the Goldilocks zone of like what makes good duck hunters. So, right. I would say on like that caveat, I would say there's probably some people in North Dakota who are great duck hunters. There probably is, but I would say that that's too easy there to like.
Yeah, the average.
Right. Because then like you think you can like, well, it's like you just don't learn the traits that make you a good duck hunter, right?
Well, I think
You
the
don't learn
average
how to
Kansas
hide.
hunter is probably inferior to the average Arkansas hunter, pound for pound. Probably.
Really?
Oh yeah, probably so.
Maybe.
Just go listen in the marshes. I mean, yeah, I'd say that's probably accurate.
Sure.
But I think
See,
there's more
I've never
hardcore
hunted
duck
Arkansas,
hunters
so
in
I can't.
Arkansas. I'm just using Arkansas.
Sure,
as a,
sure.
Arkansas,
Arkansas, they say like there's a bunch of culture in Arkansas, right? They say there's a duck boat in every driveway and a lab tied to every tree, and yeah. So I've never
more
hunted
fanatics.
it, right? But like honestly, like that culture is down the Mississippi too. It's different places all across the country, which is super cool to like partake in different places. So yeah, but we were trying to just give you a little rubbing,
It's all right.
ribbon.
It's all right.
But I will say that you are an excellent duck hunter, Elliot.
Thank you, Jordan.
I've learned a lot from you over the years.
I feel the same about you.
Really?
Yeah.
Man. That's some high praise. All right, so where are we at in the story?
First hunt.
Okay, first hunt. Zach, take it away. Talk about the first hunt, young Padawan.
So we got into the spot real early, right? Like, we were the first ones in the spot. We wanted to make sure we would get it, especially be an opener. And we had quite a long walk in. I think it was around 700 yards or so. So carried as much gear as we could, but not too much. Walked into the spot, and when we finally got to the spot, we were a little bit confused because when we scouted, we were looking at it from like 400 yards away. So when we actually got up to it, it was like, okay, where do we sit? So the birds were on this log, but it looks like a better hide down the bank a little bit. And we ended up settling on a bank. What?
I'm just thinking about the hunt. But
Yeah.
No. Getting self-conscious over here.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
We ended up setting on the bank, kind of between, honestly, two spots that looked pretty good, thinking that we'd be able to get some birds in there. And I think we all took a nap, right? We all kind of lay down
Yeah.
before we actually got everything set up.
Right. Because we got there. I mean, can we say what time we got there?
Yeah, it was 3 a.m.
Yeah,
So it's a legal time we can get off the
Right.
out of the main channel.
And shooting light was 6:29, so we were there for a while.
Hours.
Right.
We ended up building a real sweet blind, though. So there, like I said, there wasn't great cover, so we ended up knocking down, taking a bunch of deadfall and kind of stacking it up in front of us. Built real cool blind. Sat there for a little bit, and then first light happens, and there are birds everywhere. It's like mosquitoes, just wood ducks bombing in from all different directions. They get below the trees and they're hard to see, so we're not having real great shot opportunities, and nothing wants to land in the decoys. They're all landing kind of out in the middle of this little slough that we're in.
Right. It was kind of weird because it was just, you'd think they'd want to come right in, but like, I don't know if they just couldn't see the decoys yet or what. I mean, because it was just wood ducks everywhere. And there was like two sweet spots at the end of the cove, which is honestly where I would have picked to set up normally, right? Is I love hunting the back end of coves because they seem to like think it's secure and jump down there and tuck into the cover. But then there was the log that we saw when we scouted, right? And then at night, everything changes from a perspective at night versus in the day. And it just seemed like the hide wasn't great. And we got 5 guys, which is a little much to like try to stand against logs and trees and hide, right? It really is. It would be way like 2 people, we would have just sat right on that for sure. 2, 3 people, but you get to 5 people, and we were worried about the hide. So me and Zack and Elliot walked down the bank a little bit, and we talked about it, and we're like, oh, yeah, this hide with the trees and the top cover looks way better. So we ended up sitting like 40, 50 yards to the left of the tree, which was like 100 yards from the cove. So we kind of just sat between the 2 hot spots, and it wasn't too long. And Hunter's like, I'm going to go sit in those logs. And then me and Lee were like, we're going to go sit in the cove. And so like the whole hunt like devolved into like
Every man for themselves.
right, which is just wild. But we all just split up. But it worked out pretty good. I mean, like right away when me and Lee got there, like we're huffing and puffing, grabbing the decoys out of the mud and trying to get down there as quick as we can. And like as soon as we got there, I'm trying to put the spinner in the mud. I'm still holding decoys, and I had like a 5-pack almost land on me. And so we put that down. We tucked up in the trees, and right away we killed 4 in there in like 10 minutes, if that. Once we sat down in the cove, and then Hunter, what did you guys do when Hunter was there? Hunter went to the tree.
I ran down with Hunter real quick.
I stayed.
Oh,
at
you're
the
still
blind.
filming, Elliot, right?
And then I'm like, I don't want to be with no decoys. And you guys started getting shots. And I'm like, I made a mistake. I just need to go back. And so then by the time I got back to you guys were almost, you and
Weird had 4, yeah.
yeah.
Right.
I stayed at the blind, took a couple pass shots, and called it quits and moved down with you guys.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I proceeded to miss every bird that flew by.
Yeah.
I had like
You were slinging some bismuth.
Yeah, and like, but it wasn't like any of them were like super far shots or anything. I just couldn't connect. And part of the thing was, I don't know what it is about these wood ducks, but they would sit, and they were coming in right to the quick coys, and they would sit right behind it, and I couldn't shoot. I couldn't shoot like through the quick coys, obviously, and so I'd get them up, and I'd shoot them on the flush, and like I would just it looked like I was patterning them, and it just they wouldn't go. I don't know what it was. If by the time I got on them, it was further than I thought, or what. But it just didn't seem like I was connecting well. So
Yeah, we all have bad shooting days, so it happens from time to time.
And then I was like sitting there, and it was kind of cool because this cut that we're on honestly looks like part of an oxbow, like a bend in the river that now is a lake. I don't think that's what it is, but it looks like that.
It might be.
And I could see these birds coming from like the far edge because I'm kind of on like the outside bend of it. So I can see the birds coming from the far edge, and then I'm watching them come in. And if they were skirting me, they were going to go into where you guys were down there. So I could see these birds from like, 400 or 500 yards off come in to fly by me and then just dump into your guys' decoys. I mean, just dump in there.
Right. Yeah, the hunt started off super mediocre, but those birds decoying kind of changed the day for me and Lee. I know that. And then everybody else kind of eventually came down to us, except for you, Hunter. You kept sticking it out at your log pile. So Elliot and Zack got down there, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go grab my camera and check on Hunter and do some filming too, because I was already at 2, and most everybody else, Lee was at 2, and everybody else didn't have any birds. And I go to walk over there, and one just flies right over my head. I'm just like, drop the limit. So, yeah, then I went and filmed Hunter probably for most of the rest of the hunt until he shot his limit. Then I went back down to you guys. So, yeah.
At one point, everyone had their limit, and Hunter needed 1, and Zack and I had 0.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have 0 mosquitoes, though. We're taking turns gearing up for the rest of the podcast, I guess. But,
Edgar, cut that out.
No, right. Yeah, so that was the end of the first day. Elliot took his wood ducks on the app down from 4 to 3.
Like, those bastards, I'm cutting it to 3. But the cool thing about that day was there was a point in which I think that Zack emotions too were kind of like, man, this is just not going to happen.
Right.
And then at that hole down there, the longer the day went, the better the decoying got down there.
Yeah.
To where he and I were shooting stuff just
They loved that down there.
coasting in.
They loved the into that cove where they just come down. It was almost like they weren't planning to land there, and then they see the decoys and they just whipped around and would tuck right in. Lee had an awesome shot over the shoulder, went into the woods. Ouch! That mean this mosquito got me good. Yeah, and you guys had decoying birds and all that too. So
Ended up being pretty fun.
It was beautiful. I thought it wasn't going to happen.
right.
Moved down there. I had a couple pass shots, but nothing solid, and I missed, of course. So moved down there, and I mean, it was worth it that I missed those shots because it was just
You'd rather have the other ones.
perfect. Yeah,
Someone got the bug spray. Okay.
we were shooting them right in the decoys, real close, and
Yeah.
it was just a really cool experience.
Right. And it was like you're kind of saying, Elliot, it was an emotional tool because we had big YouTuber famous guy with us. Elliot the Snake Snyder. I don't know if I actually like the nickname because it has like, but I keep saying it.
You
It's
should
catchy.
probably remind
It's
everyone
catchy.
why you call me the snake.
Do
you remember?
No, I don't actually.
Because I spliced up that podcast episode where you guys were talking about me and the wood ducks, and you were saying that I was like CNN cherry picking clips to just make myself look good.
Yeah, that's funny. You were, so
I wasn't.
I can't wait for this edit.
No.
The edit for today's video.
You got some good audio clips to add.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, trying to get my bearings on this podcast. We've been all over the place. So yeah, that was the end of the first day. We came back, hang out on the boat, cooking wood ducks. They were delicious.
We had to move the boat too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got to move the boat. We waited to move the boat for Elliot.
Yeah, I really appreciate you waiting for me to. I greatly enjoyed it.
I mean, it's like I feel like it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You know, a lot of people aren't going to care as much as we do about it, but it's just cool. And like it's the only time we're going to move it when you're here. So I mean, yeah.
Taking it down the channel, you let me take the wheel for a second. I got to wear the captain hat.
Yep. Yep.
Oh man, what a day that was! You got to send me that picture.
Okay, it's a good picture.
I'm gonna frame that bad boy.
Yeah, it should be your like new Facebook profile picture.
It might be. It may end up being
Captain
that.
Elliot. So yeah, more scouting and hunt number 2. So no birds were found by Well, I guess some birds, obviously. Not the story was you guys didn't find very many birds on your scout.
I think they were lying.
It sounds like it.
Well,
They were holding back some information.
I kind of believe they were, to be
I
honest.
heard them talking about it. They were. I'm not making that up.
Oh my goodness.
Zach,
They
do you want to
didn't
defend
think
it?
I'd tell you.
So me and Hunter found, it wasn't a ton of birds. It was like, I don't know, probably 20 or 30 or so in this little cut off the river. And as we were walking out of the spot, me and Hunter were like, should we tell the guys or should we just
Yeah.
hold this?
Do we just hold?
Wow,
it
team
was like-
players.
Yeah.
We don't think we're going to shoot a 5-man out of it, but we could probably get a 3-man out of it. So we're like, we'll just wait
Yeah.
till later.
So
in the
here,
week.
that brings a whole new light to the whole situation this morning.
Well, yeah, to me
when
too.
Hunter could not find the
Okay,
pin.
so this is
For real.
I like stood on the pin. I'm like standing in water and there's feathers everywhere.
So I'm like, man, he sure is giving up on this spot pretty quick.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm
I
like,
didn't say that. I'm like, man, we're not even really trying.
yeah, he didn't try at all.
Boom, we're out.
Oh my goodness. That's good to know.
Let's get Jordan and Leah go to the X.
That's not what happened.
It sounds like it.
We were actually the exact words that like Zach said was like,
Oh, he's
if
throwing
we
you
wait
under the bus.
another day, it'll get better. That spot
Okay.
will just get better that
I
we
said-
found.
And then we agreed when we get back to the boat, we'll see what you found.
Yeah, we'll
and
see
if
what
you
you
found more, then we'll hunt
Wow.
yours.
So from now on, I will wait to hear what they say first.
And you were like immediately, you like were on Marco being like, this is a for sure 5-man, easy birds. Like,
It was. It really was.
and like all this. And then this morning we walk into the spot and there's like 50 yards of mud on the exact pen you sent me.
There was nowhere where it was 50 yards of mud, but
I have no idea where you were not in the same hole we were.
It did
He
look
showed-
really
he showed
poor.
me his
Where we
pin
were
later.
standing looked really poor.
he showed me his pin later, and it wasn't the pin you had.
You sent me the pen.
no, I didn't. I looked because it's not
You-
shared.
No, you
made
showed
the
him the
blue
pin at the boat. You showed him the pin at
you
the
put
boat.
the blue
and he
pin on my
confirmed
Onyx.
that that's what it was.
Yeah, and when
I
we
mean, that was the
walked out-
hole. It was the hole. You just were not at the right spot on the hole.
Well,
You
that would have
gave
been
me
nice
the
to
pin.
know before we walked in.
Okay, well, there wasn't very much conversation. Hunter just lost his mind.
No, what happened?
usual.
What happened was he scouted
Got
it.
the emotional.
He scouted it, and I was like, "All right, I want you to put the pin where you want us to walk in on my phone because your phone was dead, and that's why you didn't send it to me." And so
Sure.
you put a blue pin on my map, and I said, "Okay." And we walked in, and I stood on that pin, and I was on a mud flat.
Yeah, but if you went to the other side, it's trees and water.
I was on a mud flat.
We're
and with-
walking in the dark, though. We don't know what this.
yeah, we don't know what any of this looks
I
like.
did say it looks like there's trees. on
It
the
did. I
side.
heard you say it in the Marco. He said, "You think it's really that far from the other side?" And Hunter's like, 100%.
I did not say 100%.
Guaranteed.
I just said it looked like this side, and the side that we were on had like taller reeds, and then it had dead reeds that were like knee high for about 20 yards, and then it had mud for another 20 yards, and then there was like skim water.
On the side we're on, that is accurate.
Yeah,
It's-
and it
I mean,
looked
I
like-
walked on that side. It's semi-accurate, but I mean, it wasn't 50 yards.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do
It
it.
wasn't close to 50.
It didn't
yards.
look good.
But yeah, we weren't going to hide in the reeds. We were going to hide in the trees like we've been doing on the other hunts. So that's what me and Lee did. And yeah, we definitely could have shot a 5-man there.
We definitely could have shot a 5-man where we were at too.
Sure,
It worked
sure.
out. It worked
Yeah,
out.
It did
right?
work out.
It worked out. It worked out.
But no, we walked into the spot, and again, this was like we should have had you walk into the spot because we had never seen it, and we walked in there, and I didn't see a single feather on the pen, and it looked like mud. It just didn't see any tracks in the mud. It honestly looked really bad.
It did.
Yeah.
And I
Sure.
was like, okay, so if we sit here, I'm not saying there's not going to be birds that come in, but they're landing at like 30, 40 yards. Like it's just not going to be
Yeah.
good from the hide. And so I was like, all right, we were talking about it, and it's like, well, we have another spot, so we might as well walk back out.
As context, the water level has been dropping.
Yeah,
So we're like,
right, it just dropped
what if there was
every day.
2 inches in here and it just dropped overnight?
right.
It
That was
really
kind of our
could have.
thought.
Yeah. I will say that Hunter's not the easiest one to talk to when he gets something in his mind. And you kind of lose it a little bit.
Well, and then we walked back out, and it was like I confirmed with you because we were like, okay, we went to the wrong pen, and we walked back out, and I confirmed this is the pen, this is the spot. That
Well,
you
I
scouted.
I didn't believe you.
Yeah, I
be
know you
honest.
didn't, and I was like, this is the spot, and we went and stood on the pen, and it was like not
Sure.
Not
I
what
mean,
you
it was,
said it was.
honestly, it was the pen that he showed me still in the same hole. But it's just like you just got to look across and be like, why would we sit in the reeds when we can sit in the trees?
Because
In
when
the
we
dark,
looked
it's
across,
hard
it
to
looked
look
the same.
across.
Sure.
And when
Yeah.
I tried to walk across it, it was just mud. And I was like, well, this is a lost cause.
I mean, yeah, it's mud until it turns into water. Then, like in that hole, it was like knee deep to like thigh deep in the middle of it. I was like, oh, we probably could have even drove the boat through.
No, I know you couldn't get the boat in there. I tried to do that when the water was a foot taller. The entrance is too shallow.
Maybe not for the duck torpedo, because you can always drag it a little ways. But yeah, next time you have to try a little harder.
I mean, I probably walked what?
You'll
how
have
far
to
from you
want
guys?
it. I don't think you actually wanted to hunt the spot.
I wanted to
I
go
will
shoot
say,
a 5-man.
I was thinking, Jordan scouted this. It's got to be here somewhere.
Right.
That was what I was thinking. I was like, we're giving up really early.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of what I felt too. But
I think me and Hunter had the context that we got it for sure.
Yeah, like we were like,
Yeah.
oh, I for sure have a
The
spot.
withheld information.
right,
in their back
that feels a
pocket.
little dirty from my perspective, to be
I would have
honest.
to agree with Jordan on that. This is a group thing, man. You can't go on
Like
a group scout and then withhold information like
Right.
that.
We didn't withhold it though.
No, you did.
we
You
said
did.
we found like 20
No,
birds
you
in each
withheld
hole.
it. You
Which
played
is
it down.
accurate.
You talked about playing it down, and then you did it.
Yep.
I mean, no, you said how many birds were in the hole,
We said we found 20 birds.
and I even I was like,
You guys
there was
did.
even a buck bedding down. Like I said, all the details.
No. You guys, when you told me last night, it was less than that, but it grew later when you told me it, which I thought was odd, because you said you found nothing more than like 10.
No, we found a bunch of
100
holes.
I
with
can go
like
back to
6.
the Marco, is what I can say from Zach.
It wasn't from me.
You're a liar.
We can pull it up now.
I'm just saying, you can't be on a team and do group scouts and
Yeah.
withhold anything because you got to divulge it.
Right.
Whole.
Right. So did he coerce you to do that? Because you're not.
Or is he rubbing off on you?
Wow! Wow!
He brought up the idea, but I kind of agreed with him.
So he's rubbing off on you.
No,
'Cause
Jordan.
that's not your heart, Zach. That's not who you are.
That's true.
Okay. I don't know how to respond to that.
Yep. I'm a little hurt
You should be.
Why?
because that was dirty.
What do you mean that was
It's
dirty?
a little dirty.
It was.
Okay.
You don't have any remorse in your heart.
I mean, you said you found 200 birds, so
I did not say 200.
you did say 200.
You said
We can
200.
pull up
No,
the
I
Marco
didn't.
and get
Pull
that.
up the Marco. He
You
did
said
not.
I did
say
not.
200.
I didn't say 200. I said 100. And then when we got there, I said I better tone it down.
You
a
might have
little
said
bit.
150.
He might have said it.
No, I said 150 in the north side of, I won't say the lake, but the north side of the other one. It was 2 spots. 100 there and 50 in the other spot. And then when you got here, I said, I probably should tone it down. I got a little excited. It's probably closer to 70 or 80 wood ducks, which is still a lot. I was literally like watching down the thing, and I could see like wood ducks all the way down it. There's a bald eagle sitting there eating a dead duck. And then like behind him, like comes like just more wood ducks just swooping in. And when I see those swoop in, I look and there's just wood ducks all over, all on that bank, just like we saw them on the backside of that North Cove, just the same way. And I'm like, holy cow, they all moved into this because they got hunted in that main slough. So, anyways, all ends well. How's the phrase go? All ends well that ends well when your best buds throw you under the bus. Something like that. So, yeah, we all shot a bunch of birds, and we're up to 51 total wooden ducks so far over 4 hunts, which is a lot, I would say. More than most people shooting 4 hunts, which is all legal limits, by the way. We've had 4 or 5 people in every hunt, and we shot we've shot a handful of green wings and 1 blue wing as well on our duck openers. So, and that was the goal. Our goal was to shoot a bunch of wood ducks and convert Elliot, but sounds like he has got a heart of stone.
loved it.
Unconvertible.
Fun hunts. Today was more fun than the first day.
Yeah, I mean, we really didn't even talk about today's hunt. We just talked about how we split up, honestly.
How you guys? Yeah.
So, like,
That's a fun way of saying it.
Says a guy who gave us an inaccurate pin.
yeah, and I confirmed it 2 times with you, and I stood on top of it. And did
Hey,
not
I
see what
think
you're
you
talking about.
should have tried harder or waited for me, but you were like unapproachable by the time I got there.
Yeah, because I just walked
we just
900
walked in
yards.
and out.
900 yards.
I mean, in and out.
Okay.
I mean, like, we just walked
Yeah.
900 yards in and out of a spot, and we were under the impression, like, I was like, oh, the water dropped out of here last night. And there's just, like, I was like,
I believed in it so much that I said, Lee, I think we should walk in there. We might have to walk back out, but there's just no way that I know what I saw. And he's like, Lee, being the man he is, had faith.
I mean, I blindly walked into the hole, looked around, and went, this is not what I thought. You gave me the wrong pen, honestly. And after you confirmed it was the right pen, I was like, yeah, that's not worth hunting.
And then you said it looked like the spot we had hunted the previous
Yeah,
day,
you
which
did say that.
not.
It did look not
Well,
look anything
okay.
like
It did
that.
look nothing like it.
Also, I'm scouting it from like 800 yards away, and I'm looking through the binos all the way down the stretch, and all I can see is the back cove. I didn't know on the right side. I couldn't see the right side. All I could see is the trees in the spot where they're landing towards and where I wanted to sit. So, I mean, sure, from 800 yards away, it was a similar shaped slough, right? It was a long slough all the way down, and it had trees on the side that we're going to set up on. So, from 800 yards away, it didn't look that far-fetched from like what we hunted the day before. So, all right, go ahead, tell your glory story.
I mean, we just walked into the spot that Zach and I scouted, and we sat up in a blowdown tree, and we made like a blind out of it for the three of us to sit in, just with like the blowdown tree, the limbs and stuff that were around us. It actually ended up being a pretty good hide. Well, really good. None of the birds picked us off, I'll tell you that.
No.
Absolutely not. And Zach, you tell your opening morning birds. Right at light.
So, for context, it was super foggy, so it was kind of hard to see these come in. But
And set up what the place looked like, too.
yeah, so it's a long slough. It's maybe 30, 40 yards across.
You could shoot all the way across it.
Yeah. And, 200 yards long or so. It's kind of mud banks all up and down. But there's a couple of blowdown trees. So, and it's a timber hole. It's in the timber. So these wood ducks would kind of fly the long side of this hole. And with all the fog, we couldn't see them coming in. So, but anyway, we had two right at light come in and land on the water. And Elliot was filming, so me and Hunter were shooting. And I go, Hunter, do you want the left one? And I waited for a second, and I heard zero response. So I was like, okay, I'll shoot the right one. Shot the right one. The left one ended up diving, popping its head back up, and then I swung back over and swatted that one too. So like 3 minutes in the light, I got 2 out of my 3 wood ducks. I swatted both of them. They were both hens too.
Yeah, and it was like funny because I didn't see the other one land. I only saw the one, and he's like, I heard him say, "Do you want the left one?" And I'm like, as opposed to the right one. And like, to be clear, we're sitting, and like, I would have definitely been shooting in front of him. Like, he would have had full right to be pissed if I shot that bird without him being like, "Do you want to shoot that bird?"
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't even know why you're asking me this question. Like, it didn't compute in my head. And when he shot and it dove, I thought that was the shot hitting the water, like the splash of it diving. And so I just I was up on it. And when it popped back up, before I even I was going to squeeze a follow-up shot just as like a cleanup shot. Cause again, I thought he shot it. And by then he had already shot it in my mind again. And then when I sent the dog, he's like, "Oh, I shot 2." And I was like, wait, what? I was still confused. It took me a minute or two to compute that oh, that's what happened.
That was pretty fun. But all these birds were decoying perfect. I mean, 10 yards, maybe even a little bit closer for some of them, right to the decoys in front of us. We had a lot of singles and doubles and a couple groups of 4 or 5 that came in. It was a really, really clean hunt, a gentleman's hunt. So we all kind of took turns. Nobody split on any birds. And we had two kind of highlights, I think. We had one come in from the front, and then 4 came in from behind us. And this is my last bird and Hunter's last bird, so we both limited on this, and they were both beautiful Drake wood ducks. So that was sweet. And then we had one that was, I don't know, it was super close flying, and Elliot just pillowcased it.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was like the perfect bird coming over top. Shot it right as it was about to dip right in. It was sweet.
It was cool. Shot cam footage of that is one of my better shot cams I've ever gotten.
Sounds like a lot of fun, guys.
How was your hunt?
It was pretty good. Yeah. So we went to the pen. We didn't give up right away. Walked in.
We went to the pen too, to be clear.
Yeah, we went to the
No,
same.
you were like 40 yards away from where I was at, but yeah. So we went in, set up, just as we planned, and it went pretty good. So maybe you should give Leroy the mic real quick. Leroy, you want to jump over here?
Oh,
over here. Come over here.
What?
Okay.
Oh.
So yeah, we got set up. I mean, it was super foggy morning. We're back in this cut, in this cove. Yeah, that works. I mean, I was trying to demote Hunter, but we'll we'll go with this one. Yeah. So what do you think, Lee?
Oops, sorry, I stepped on a cord there. Well, this thing started with me getting stuck in the mud
Right.
with boots that were too large.
Yeah.
I didn't have a whole lot of control over my heels of the boots to twist out of the mud.
Right. Right.
So, that took some work getting out of that situation, but I made it. Jordan thought he was going to have to
Come carry over there.
Yep, but we got ourselves out of that situation, and I looped around, and we got started, and the fog was present, and it hung on for a long time,
Right.
and the ducks were just
Thick as mosquitoes. Yeah. They're everywhere. I mean, but it was like World War II over there.
Yeah.
Just booms all in the distance. We're sat like people around us, not anybody we could see, but just a lot of groups in that area, a lot of wood ducks.
and with the fog, they would disappear just as fast as they'd show up.
Right. We definitely got some where they just came in so quick and got out right
Yeah.
away. So they'd come whipping around. All you'd see is their wings whipping back and forth. They'd cut down to the decoys, and then they keep on going. So we got caught a couple times like that. But the first flock came in. We had a little 5-pack, and you had your first kind of struggle on shooting as a new hunter, I would say. And I told these guys that you've done remarkably well, to start with. Right, just coming into it. I mean, the first time we went on your first shot, you just dumped a goose out of the sky. You've limited 4 times in a row on wood ducks, so I mean that's definitely like no small feat. And then today it kind of hit you a little bit. Sometimes it's just like a little mental shift,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of struggled on it a little bit.
Yep, and you're continually questioning and asking yourself, what do I need to do better?
Were you like looking up like how to shoot ducks online?
Yes.
I thought you were
I was
looking
like-
at like charts. And,
Yeah, I totally was. I was looking at lead charts and everything for distance and everything.
Does it say anything about looking down the barrel of the gun, whether you're supposed to do that or not?
Oh, jeez, here we go.
Yeah, most people think, but I don't want to get too far off the weeds on that one though.
Sorry.
That's all right. But you got it. I mean, you got to get. That first 5-pack came in. I dumped 2 of them, and
Yeah, you were whacking them.
yeah. So it started off fast, and then like that fog just kind of like kept them from decoying real well after that, and it felt like. And then once that cleared up, I mean, they were just decoying phenomenal.
That they were.
And you shot some a beautiful drake, a beautiful hen. We had a blue wing come right in. So
Yeah, that was super exciting.
right.
First blue wing.
Right. And then you did, a round of different adjustments. You're trying shooting leading more. You're trying to pull your gun up more. You're trying to, and by the end, like you went from like, I don't even know. We didn't know how many you missed, but you missed quite a few.
Too many.
to knocking it out right at the end. You got it all together.
Yeah,
And,
dropping the hammer on it.
right. I think at the end, you finished your limit and just a handful of shots. So
Yeah.
Yep. How are you enjoying your new venture into waterfowl hunting, Leroy?
It's all consuming, and with the group of guys here, and just, I mean, it's a plunge,
Right.
and it's fantastic. You kind of forget all your other worries in the world, and you're just in a whole nother world, the world of duck hunting, and it's
Right.
an adventure.
Right. Pretty cool group of guys to get dropped into. I know that sounds like, I'm talking about myself a little bit, but, in all reality, you got a group of hardcore guys, and we were even saying, like, how crazy would it be for us? Like, it would have been a dream to be dropped into, like,
Yeah.
a group like this as a new duck hunter that enjoys it. Not everybody would enjoy it on the same level you do. So,
You guys definitely put in the hard work over the years, and yeah, I'm just a fortunate benefactor on the backside, so I really appreciate it.
definitely, man. We're glad to have you. I didn't mean it like trying to get you to thank us or anything. I'm just saying it's cool.
That's
It'd
the
be
way
cool.
it has to be said sometimes. So
Good deal. Elliot, you got any kind of closing words or thoughts for the podcast?
I just appreciate you guys letting me come up here with you. I've listened to the pod. I've never hunted with or even met Hunter before, other than just talking to him a lot. Zack and I had hunted one time together, but I'd never seen the 3 of you, and now with Lee here, just kind of work together and interact, and it's been really fun to see exactly how, all I've seen is the public stuff, which you guys are the same off air as you are on. Maybe you tease each other a little more, off air than on. But it's been a real blessing to me to be able to hang out with you guys, see how you guys, because you guys have become such a tight team, see how you do everything, see how you razz each other. It's just been it's a pleasure. The number of people that would love to be in my shoes are many. So
Definitely.
it's just been an honor to be here with you guys.
I'll have to say too, man, we really appreciate you coming along too. You know, we've been partners in stuff in the past and podcasts and working on the app together and collabed on YouTube videos for years. And like, you know, I think of you as like, you know, I have super high regard for you as a person, an individual. And any time I get to spend with you is something that I highly value. So I appreciate you making your time out here too.
Thank you. Feelings mutual. Feelings mutual. This isn't our last hunt together, I'm sure.
Right.
There's more in the future.
Definitely. All right, Hunter. Now's your chance. Would you like to apologize for anything?
Nah, I haven't apologized for nothing.
Hunter, when's the last time you apologized for anything?
Never.
Just out of curiosity.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I have recently. I just don't remember. Like, you know, I don't remember being wrong either. So you know, that's kind of par for the course there, I think. I mean, if you're wanting me to apologize for the scout deal, I will not, because I don't think that was as egregious as you think it was. Because we said how many birds were there, and you were adamant about how many birds you had. So we're like, okay.
So why wasn't the suggestion for all 5 of us to go there?
Because you had a scout where you said you saw 150 birds, and we had a scout where we saw less than 30.
But then you said what? That it was unhuntable.
Where you were at.
Right.
Yeah. The pin that you sent me, I stood on the pin. It was unhuntable.
Sure, but that was what the thought was, and then you left, right?
No, the complete thought was we went in there, and I saw where there was water, and I thought the water all left. Like the water dropped. If the water even drops 2 inches,
I'm not going to get much out of them, am I?
No.
Well, I will say in Hunter's defense, they said that they did not think that was a 5-man limit in there. Full disclosure, they did not think that.
Right.
And I'm sure that they were more in jest saying they were going to.
No, you're not supposed to say that. I'm trying to.
Well, I've been teasing Hunter a lot a little bit.
I'm trying to crack down on him a little bit.
And then, I think I gave the justice to the spot that you gave me, because I walked out. I walked out a decent ways and turned around and looked back and like took my spotlight, which again, it's foggy, right? So you can only see so much. And I thought the other side looked just like where I was at. It was not worth walking across.
Yeah, but you could have had a little more faith in Jordan's scout than you did.
But I thought that the water left.
Well,
so
it's
like
not going to leave that much over.
The faith was that there were birds here, but the water's gone. So what are we supposed to do now?
But his scout, there's no way
I can
that
imagine.
2 inches would have.
I can imagine being like, if I was like a bird's eye view, just seeing your emotions flare, and that's what takes over. So you might need to keep those in check and have a little more faith, because,
like I thought I gave it like I said, I thought the water left. It looked like it gets.
Hey, when you came out and the way you came out, I knew that it hadn't been given justice.
Again,
I'll put it that way.
400 yards to see a mud flat, in my opinion, right? Like from what I saw, that's what we walked for.
Sure.
Or we walked 400 yards one way to get ready.
Very emotional.
Yes.
Man, Hunter, I gotta say, Hunter, it's fun to just watch. For years I took this needling constantly, and it's pretty fun to sit here and watch you get it.
Yeah, it's all right.
It comes out of love.
Yeah, It does. It does. Yeah. All right. Well, we got a hunt for tomorrow. Hopefully, Hunter walks all the way to the pin this time. I can't stop either. Is the problem. But anyways, we got a bunch of fun stuff planned. We got a lot more days on the river, and more content, more videos, more podcasts going to drop, and I can't wait to do it. So, thanks again, Elliot, for coming on. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. I'm Jordan, Deccan Chronicles, Hunter, King of the Cans, Leroy, the Decoy Slayer, Zachary, Young Padawan Conrad, and Elliot from Freelance Duck Hunting. You want to plug all your stuff too? I know everybody probably knows it.
Well,
but...
I will say that the video today with Hunter and Zack is going to be on Freelance Duck Hunting YouTube channel. That's probably the first one that will come out. So if you want to see that, check that out. And I'll be breaking this whole trip down myself on the North American Waterfowler podcast. So go check me out over there.
Definitely. And YouTube and Instagram, Freelance Duck Hunting.
Right.
And his app, North American Waterfowler app. right? Does that get the name right?
That's right.
Okay. All righty, folks. We'll see you on the next one.